longer strange in our church that we have designated a Sunday or to reflect on God's creation with the aim of promoting our God-given stewardship to creation. And when we say green, I think you know what it means. That is what is instructed biblically. We have the responsibilities over nature, over creation. And that is what we want to examine again this morning. It has been discovered that most of the disasters we are facing as humankind are product of our carelessness, our neglect, and irresponsibility to nature. Just think about it, and you will see around calamities of our generation, you see human factors. Things we ought to do, we left undone. Things we are not supposed to do that we have done, or we are doing. We are facing all these disasters all around us. For instance, we sink boreholes indiscriminately. We log the forest carelessly. We build even on waterways. We release chemical pollution from our industries. And we neglect, some of this neglect, recently you could see, led to climate change. Places where used to be hot, they are feeling cold. And places where used to be cold, they are feeling hot. We have all this around us. One major effect of climate change is desertation of the forest. So we talk about nature. I don't know how many of us are mindful that we have responsibility again. We want to come, hear God speak to us, how we will break through, how we make our ways. But there are things God expects from us that we have left undone. You know about desertation of the forests. Last year, that led us to consider Nigeria and the Nigerian Christian and cattle colony. That was our topic last year, Green Sunday. Once a year. Just first, I think this is the second week in July. And that's what we do. So don't be surprised. Soil degradation that lead to the migration of herders from the north to south in search of pasture because they no longer have pasture, so they are coming down. Now, the daughter of our first sorority, somebody, Mrs. Olokunrin or somebody, was also killed. We have all this around us today. Many heartless and gruesome killing of innocent. And we have dislodging of farmers from their villages. The controversial senator, his house was also raided by these kidnappers and other terrorists or what have you. They killed his uncle and they went away with his stepmother. That was just yesterday or thereabout. This is the nation we find ourselves. But many of you who may not want to agree, but all these are connected to our negligence of things God asked us to do that we have left undone. Our nation's security forces had been overwhelmed. As you see, herdsmen continue to have a free day, and their hearts define solution. We talk about cattle colonies. That was what they were proposing before as a way out. But the story and the narration has changed again. Now we have rural settlements. We always have some of these terms and terminologies as long as we are not complying with the design of God for the universe. He created the world, He created the universe, and He has the best of design for the universe. People of God, Nigerian Christian and cattle colony. There we examine the Israelites who came to Egypt. They requested for a colony from Pharaoh. They settled in that colony. You remember Goshen. They said, give us a place because we are We are herders. We have animals and this. And they give them Goshen. So they were staying in Goshen. And before you know it, 70 people that came to Egypt became multitudes. And they became threats to the people of Egypt. Then we asked our question. We raised some conjectures of how 70 people could become millions and become threats to the people who are on the land. And we now have similar situation in our nation, where some will come as alien, they come as visitor, they come as guests, and before you know it, they take over the land. How come 70 people come to Egypt and they became terror to the people of the land? We raised some conjectures. One, probably when the Hebrews were having 6 children each, the Egyptians were having 2. Abi? The Egyptian who owns the land, they were having 2. The Israelites who came as alien, each individual is having minimum of 6. And after some years, they became multitudes and they became threats to the people of the land. Recently, I didn't know how many of you attended this year's general conference. The convention president, our convention president came and became apostle of having more children. Then it was don't have more children. Now it is have more children. Yes, I quote him. He said he has 3. But he will have had more. Because the Bible says multiplied. And if you are 2, you and your wife, and you are to multiply, the minimum you can multiply is 4. Abi? So the minimum you can have is 4. So if you have only 2, all you have succeeded in doing is to just replace yourself. You have not multiplied. And that is why these people are voting today. We became nothing. With everything we have, they have numbered us. We are playing a game of numbers. Even if you are blind, they count you. Even if you are a beggar, they count you. They are not counting certificates. They are not counting people who live in flats. Even if you live in swamp, you live in Ruga, they are counting you. So how does 70 people became multitudes and they eventually became threats to Egyptians? It is possible that when they were having 2, and let me tell you as Christians, go and check your Bible. All this have 1 child, have 2 child is European. It's not biblical. Where did you see it in the Bible? It's foreign culture. It's European culture, America, all these whites. And I read it in the news today. Sure, the last news on my phone that Muslims won, Muslim party in Belgium won election. And they are now about, establishing Sharia in Belgium. It's a matter of number. Unfortunately, some of us are regretting late. The president said he had 3 children, he has finished training them. And now what he ran for is what is now passing through. He doesn't want to have more responsibilities. But there are people, your loved ones, your relatives, your cousin, your what have you, that are just giving birth. And they will bring one to you. They say, brother, let this one follow you. The same responsibility you are running for, you end up. Just continue your money. You will still give your brother's sister this one for school. You will still put this one in school. We are playing game of numbers in this country. This country is becoming sharp. In short, nonsense. Look at it every day. As if there are no reasonable people in this country. Why and how does 70 people become multitude in Egypt? Maybe when the Hebrews were feeding their children with fresh herbs and natural fruit, The pampered Egyptian children were feeding on trash, fast food, that weakened their genes. We'll talk more on this. Could it be that when the Hebrews were focusing on raising strong family with professional skills, the Egyptians were wasting their time on social media, soap opera, telemundo, watching? Maybe while the Hebrews were using their resources to raise strong children, the Egyptians were multiplying cars, liquor, and luxurious houses. They limited themselves to small family, big mansions, and each child to a car. But the other people were multiplying people. They won't count your cars. They are not, when we go for election, they won't say how many cars you have. It's about who is eligible to vote. I see these people, you see them, you want to say this one, but they will go and vote. Probably while the Hebrews were focusing on raising united development agenda, the Egyptians were competing against one another, blowing whistles over one another, blowing uncoordinated grammar and impracticable solutions. We leak ourselves. Look at what is happening with Koza and what? The same Christian food. These people will do what is worse, but you hardly hear them. We trail ourselves. Any slightest something, we are the ones who know how to blow grammar. We are journalists. We know how to do investigative journalism. We expose ourselves. How does 70 people become multitude in Egypt? Maybe when the Hebrews were focused on their faith, serving their God and waking up early to possess the day with prayers. Early to possess the days with prayer. The Egyptians were slumbering, soaked in heresy, asking their God to serve them instead of serving their God. They were rendering belated prayers, poor in quantity, poor in quality, poor in timing. As bad as they may be, those of us that comes out very early, you will see them in all these their places where they worship and what have you. Some of us find it difficult even to say morning prayer. No wonder 70 people became multitude, and not just mere multitude, they became threats. Are we not threatened in our own land today? How much of freedom did we have? How free is our freedom? Probably when the Hebrews were working hard, weekends and weekends, rising early to feed their flock, the Egyptians were spending all their weekends throwing expensive party. Owambe. Extravagant society parties with complete ajebi. Today ajebi, tomorrow ajebi. Shoot to match, back to match. Some people are more serious, thinking of the future, possessing the land and becoming threats. While we throw all this party, we even go and buy cattle. Maybe the Egyptians were buying cattle from the sons of Jacob to celebrate their weekend splash. I learned descendants of Uthman Saddam Fodio, mainly Fulanis, they don't even eat the cow. They eat chicken or goats. They allow you to eat that one. Sometimes what you even eat are not cow. They don't worry, you have eaten it and you are still eating it. That's what you know what to eat. It's not bad, but we need to wake up. So, before you know it, the Hebrews, once less educated, and the minority soon became richer and became stronger, and they became threats to the people who owns the land. We have a lot to learn. Let's build a quality and quantity population. Let us rely on God for wisdom. Be careful of how you live, how you sell all your things. You know today, some of us, your father has land. All you know is let's go and sell land. You don't want to work. You want to sell land. That land, by the time they take everything, you inherited it from your parents, I think it is wise that you also give it to the generation that is coming. That was what we examined last year. The Nigerian Christians and Katu colony. But now, it is the Nigerian Christian and Ruga settlements. You can apply it. But make sure we are conscious of how we live. It's not all about us. What about the coming generation? This year, many of us could notice the differences in nature. Nature in our generation compared to some decades ago. Can you see the trees we have, the plants, the animals around us? Are you seeing anything different from decades ago? Maybe we are not even conscious. Many animal species had gone into extinctions, while a number of others had been recreated. There are animals or plants that today you don't see them again. We are failing in our responsibility. When I was in school, I visited a brother and we were talking. I said, there used to be one fruit, small. You love, children love taking. I can't see it. And I'm looking for it. Many plants and animals today are going into extinction. Children of God. If you were God, all these things you have created how do you feel? Animals going into extinction. Unfortunately today, we whom God gave the responsibility of taking care of creation, we are either exploiting them or manipulating them for our advantages. The irony of it, the bad news is that all we know about nature is for us to use them for our own advantage. Exploit them, manipulate them, just to serve our purpose. That's not the original purpose. He created them and he created us. He asks us to take care of them. People of God, nature, creation is groaning. Remember Romans, is this Romans 12? Creation is groaning. I want this year's Green Sunday to awaken us to some of these manipulations of nature that is going on around us in order to reawaken the Christian responses. Are we responding to nature? Are we responding to environment as Christians? All we do is go to church, shout and shout, saying you want to ride, you want to prosper, you want to do this. Is that all about our stewardship? Let us briefly expose ourselves to some rebellious acts among men today against creation. Our rebellious acts that God is not happy with against creation. And what I want us to look at is genetic engineering. It raises a concern of manipulation of creation. So this morning and this year's topic is abuse of dominion. Abuse of dominion. And very quickly we will consider it from two subtopics. One, mandate of dominion. And the second one, manipulation of dominion. Mandates of dominion and manipulation of dominion. God gave man the mandates to dominate creation. We have read from Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, 27, and 28. After creating man in the image of God, God blessed man in verse 28. Verse 28, and God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful, multiply and fill the earth and subdue it, using all its vast resources in the service of God and man, that's amplified, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, and over every living creature that moves upon the earth. Hello? I want to believe we are communicating. The New Living Translation says, then God blessed them. Let someone say, God bless them. God bless me. God blessed them and said, be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and govern it. Reign over, rule over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, and all the animals that scurry along the ground. This is the mandate of dominion. Unfortunately, we have many misinterpretations. What is this verse of the scripture saying? I want you to underline some things. And he blessed them. Blessing them is wishing them. Blessing them is what he designed for them. Blessing them, when we think dominate, means we can just do all we wish with creation. That is wrong interpretation of the scripture. The TEV translates it as bring it under control. Another version says fill the earth and govern it. To govern is not to manipulate. It's not to just use anyhow. It's not just the domination. It's not in the negative sense. Take control. Be in charge. Have direction over. That's what God is asking us to do. Be masters over. I am putting you in charge. That is what God is. That is the mandate of dominion. Dominion is not to dominate in the negative sense. Dominion is God putting us in charge. Take care. Govern over them. Rule over them. And when I was studying, I discovered that in the same Genesis chapter 3, verse 16, the Bible says, your man will rule over you. He was telling Eve. Does that mean the man should just do anything he likes with the woman? Ruling over does not mean that all that God has given us and kept in our charge should just be used anyhow. We talk of soil degradation, desertification. When you go to Niger Delta, you see how people are just spoiling the ground. All they concern about is they want the oil. But other things, they don't care. The fish were dying. Other water animals were dying. The plants could not grow. They don't care. What concerns us is, that is not domination. Christians are called to rule over creation as God's image bearer on earth. Is that what God will have done? If you are the one representing God over all these living stocks, livestock, animals, plants, is that the way you are handling them? Is that how God will handle it? The instance I just gave now in Niger Delta, is that what God will do with Niger Delta when he exploits all? He will spoil other things. He will ask all other things to go to hell. Definitely not. Therefore, very quickly, let me tell you what dominion is and what dominion is not. One, what dominion is. Dominion is exercising power according to God's design. Well, some of you may not, you may not get my argument well. There is the argument that God said we should dominate. And when he said we should dominate, it means we could do and undo with anything. That's domination. That's not domination. Domination is exercising power, the power you have, according to God's design. 2, dominion is aspiring justice, goodness, and mercy. These are the traits of God. In whatsoever you are doing, let there be mercy, let there be goodness, let there be justice. Dominion is to exercise wisdom, rectitude, and compassion. You know, in some of these foreign countries now, there is animal rights. Have you? In my house, for about a week now, the chicks in our compound, we have tied them. And that's how we used to do. Whenever we plant, we have choice to make. If we want the plant to grow, then we have no option than tying these birds. But if we don't want them to grow, then you lose them. Unfortunately, the way we tie them, I do fight my wife because many of them now are amputees. They have one legs. Because by the time you lose the rope, it has damaged the leg. Where is our compassion? But whenever I'm passing, even if it is 10 times a day, and I saw them hooked in their ropes, I always go there. I will make sure I set them free again. We have choice to make. Should our plant grow, or we should allow the birds to hit them? But maybe there are better ways we can do them. But how do we treat animals around us? With compassion. Dominion is compassion. God is dominating and is compassionate. Dominion is providing for their comfort and preserving them from injury. All these things that God is saying dominate, you need to give them comfort. And you protect them from injury. Dominion is to desire and to promote the happiness of every being within the sphere of our influence. Promote their happiness. Let them also be happy. Let everything around you also be happy. Let them enjoy the presence of their Creator. In its proper sense, man's rule and dominion over the earth is that of a steward or caretaker. Those of you that are coming for Bible study. Dominion in the Bible sense is not a reckless exploiter. We go and log wood in the desert forest, we just cut, we don't care. No! Maybe because we have not been talking much about it. Man is not sovereign over the lower orders of creation. Ownership is in the hands of the Lord. You are not the owner. And that is what we teach in stewardship. There is nothing that you own. So all these plants, the one you caught, the animals you maltreat, they have owners. And you will give account to the owner. And the owner will also ask you to report. Even if they were yours. Is it good to treat them the way we do to some of these things? What dominion is? What dominion is not? Dominion is not tyranny. In the context of God, it is not tyranny. Dominion is not manipulation for selfish purposes. No. Go and see, though I don't want to go far in that area, but many people who inherited their father's farm, they don't know that cashew needed to be treated, though. They don't have time, but now that they are making money in cashew, they are fighting over it, killing themselves. They are now killing themselves because they are making money. But they don't take care of it. All they know is to get money. They don't know about caring. That is not dominion. Dominion is not a license to exploit the hearts. No. Look at these environmentalist activists, what have you. Thank God they are speaking. You go to all the places where these people are exploring oil. All they are concerned about is to just get their own oil. You had the federal government, I don't know how many of you remembered when the government came on first and they visited there. They talk of cleaning Niger Delta and they are saying it will take about 30-something years. Just to clean. Just to clean. And how long does it take to spoil? And they are still spoiling it. Dominion is not a license to exploit the earth. God is not saying, these things I give you, these things I give you, use them anyhow. No. It should be with discretion. But what we see in our generation is manipulation of creation. Manipulation of what? Creation. And all boils down on making rich, making money. Number 2, we've considered mandate of dominion. Now, the second part is manipulation of dominion. And that is what God is calling us to this year as his people. If you are not aware, you need to be aware and stop joining them. Except you agree with them. Because it could be two schools of thoughts. But again, for me, I see most of them as manipulation of dominion. When you say, I have dominion, God has given me sense. He gave me reason. I know how to go about this and I can do it anyhow. That is manipulation of dominion. Instead of keeping and obeying the mandate of dominion, human beings are exploiting and manipulation creation. And this led to ecological crisis. Look at the way things are. The Yoruba people will say, Eku kebi ekuma, eye okebi eyema. The birds are no longer singing like birds. The rats are no longer sounding like rats. Because of manipulation. Manipulation of creation by humans. Man became a rebel who has set himself at the center of the universe. He owns everything. He can do and undo. He can use anything at his will. He has exploited created things as though they were nothing in themselves and as though he has an autonomous right to do so. That is not dominion. You don't see them as nothing. Don't see them as just mere raw materials. No. They are created. Unfortunately for us, they are given unto us for care. They are not just left there. God asks us to rule over them, to take care of them. Man abuse of his dominion becomes clear when he places more value on time and money. Money. His uncontrolled greed and haste have led to the deterioration of the environment, of creation. And like I said earlier, one of the many ways of manipulating dominion is genetic engineering. You know, you use your money to send me to school. So you should benefit from your money. If I hadn't gone, maybe I wouldn't have been exposed to some of the things I got to know. And when I know them, I also have the duty to let you know. I'm not unaware that some of you might have the knowledge already, but we can still interact. What is genetic engineering? Genetic is from the word gene. And the usual engineering you know. So from someone, you have a civil engineer, what does a civil engineer do? Constructions, you have mechanical engineer, you have electrical engineer, We are now talking of genetic engineering. Gene. Genetic engineering is a laboratory techniques that after the genes, hereditary material of living things, of an organism, they alter the genes. They look at this gene, they look at this gene, they look at your gene, they look at my gene, they alter the genes. The cell of all living organisms contain genes. And genes carry chemical information that determines the organism's physical characteristics. All that is about you could be traced in your gene. The way you talk, the way you look, things you know could be traced in your gene. By changing an organism gene, scientists can give the organism and its progenies to come different physical traits. Modify seeds, human or even animal. They are injected with DNA from entirely separated species, like animal cells, bacteria, and even viruses. They use them. They inject that gene with something else, and they bring out something different. Manipulation of dominion. Is that what God asks us to do? Such alteration can be in the form of addition to. The way you are, they can add to you. If they work on your genes, the way you are, they can subtract from you. The way you are, they can substitute the existing material that is passed on. And we are concluding from one, a part of the argument that these people are playing God. We have it in our generation. Now. Genetic engineering has also been described as manipulation. Manipulation is an idea of one individual controlling another by infringing the autonomy of the individual being manipulated. God creates you, He created you, He creates you, He created me. Why will you come into me and begin to change me for your own use? Manipulation of dominion. God has given us sense. He has given us sense. He has given us wisdom. He has given us all we needed to know. We read, we did this and that. Instead of using it for the glory of God, we are using it to manipulate one another. People of God, genetic engineering has swallowed today's world. And many people don't even realize it, even many of us. I don't know how many churches are even concerned with issues that are contemporary, with issues that has to do with us and has to do with our faiths. Did you hear Christian talking? Don't we have a say in our generation? Don't we have prophets who will speak to their generation? Is God not speaking? Genetic engineering swallow the word. Genetically modified foods and in our diets. Something you eat, you don't even know. You know, we are changing today. I wonder, I used to say, look at the children they give birth to today. The child will open eyes today. When we were growing, we don't open eyes until 3 days. Oh, children don't open eyes. Today, they will open eyes today. They will say, who are you? You are looking at me, I'm looking at you. Some of us are not aware that some things are going under. Our diets, there are genetically modified food. The food we are eating. And go to shelf in supermarkets. We are being introduced to new types of food. In developed countries, when you go to the supermarket shelf, they will write GMO on one apple. They will not write on the other, which is organic, the natural one. You have the right to choose to buy what you want. Here, they don't write anything. And unfortunately for us, you know, greediness is in some of us. Some of you like to eat big apple today. Big apple. How will I leave small apple and eat? And how will I leave big apple and take small apple? Am I foolish? So you will carry big one. You don't know you are eating GMO. You are eating nonsense. They won't tell us, but they are here already. They are here. You need to be very careful. Let's consider about 3 of this manipulation because of our time. 1, manipulation of plants. They are manipulating plants. Manipulation of plant. A genetically modified crop plant is one that contains at least one transgene, transporting gene that is not his own, transgene, from another plant of the same species or a completely different species, animals, bacteria, or virus. They will take something, gene, from another plant. No, look, this is not crossbreeding, no. This is not cross-pollination, no. This is gene. Gene is the trait of that creation. It's all about it. That thing, where they brought the gene, that thing, whatsoever that thing is doing, will be done inside this one. So they could take it from that plant, they could take it from that animal, and they could take from animal and put it inside plant. Because of the desired result. They could take it from virus and put it inside plants. I know some of you will not eat some of this rubbish again. They will take it from bacteria, viruses, genes. They will now transplant them into the plant because they have a desired result. They have what they want to get. I don't know. I think I'm thinking traditionally, I didn't get the memory fast now, that you know some animals that don't grow well, you can use something from the ones that used to grow, and when you put it, this one, you want it to grow, have you? Apart from this carnitine or something. So something of such. They can bring something from horse, because they know horse is a very huge animal, and put it in a particular plant, and it will affect it. These are things that God has done himself. And every animal on his own, every plant on his own. In short, he warned us in Leviticus 19, that you should not breed them together. They are different. In Genesis story, a creation story, the Bible says, he created them according to what? Their types. Iru seed. So now you will take from here, you will bring it here. They have benefits. They have what? Number 1 of their benefits, they use them to control occurrences of certain diseases. If there used to be diseases of plants here, they will go and look for another one to control it. It works. They use it to eliminate allergies and grow faster than the foods that are grown traditionally. That is why you will say, mango ile osumeta ni mango. Osele osumefa ni mango. They grow, you will say this mango will begin to bear fruits 1 year. And you know that originally, it should take some more than that, have you? These are some of the so-called advantages and allergies. If they have allergies, allergic to some things, they use it to control them. Born in places which experience frequent droughts, they used to have those that If there are droughts, it doesn't used to rain, they give you that seed, you have it, and it can also grow. It can also grow. Places with unfavorable climates. I was listening to, was it NTA, Radio Nigeria, or one radio program? A guy was saying he used to buy his seed from South Africa or America, seeds to plant. He said when he buys from America or South Africa, he used to get like 100 bags. But if he should buy here, he will get just like about 30, 40 bags. You could see the difference. It is working. But as Christians and people of faith, what is God telling us about it? What is God telling us about it? They have high nutrients and contain more minerals and vitamins. They taste better sometimes, and they increase shelf life. Like this tomato that you will carry from Maiduguri to Lagos, before you get there, it begins to spoil. This one, you can carry it from Maiduguri to Abidjan and it will not spoil. It has lifespan. It doesn't spoil on time. They did all these things. That's it, because it is scientific. So, what are the dangers? Damage to the environment, morality of manipulating the genetic material of living creatures. How will you go to the extent of tampering with the genetic material of the living things? And what about health effects? According to a particular American report, around 60% of processed foods contain genetically modified organisms. If you are buying processed food, 60% of them. And a report recently, I had it myself in Nigeria, that I see that cancer rates in children is increasing in Africa. The rate of cancer in children is increasing in Africa. Those things we eat, we don't even know their effects. We are only, even those who were manipulating, have not discovered what the effect will be, health-wise. So when we take all these things, they have their effect on us because of time. Today is Green Sunday, and I want us to know things about nature around us because we have a duty. Very quickly, what about animals? Animals are also being manipulated. Labs are genetically altering animals to become more adaptive to their tasting need. You do them so that they give you the tasting need. There are rats without immune systems. All these are Ebola, what have you. There are pigs that carry a gene for growth hormones and show significant improvements in weight gain and reduce fat. They won't have fat the way they used to have, and they will grow more. What about cock that are laying eggs? Is it natural for the male bird to lay egg? Are they not laying for us? Many of us don't even know that there is difference between our table egg that we eat and the real eggs. Do you know that? You don't know. You don't know that this egg that you eat, they can't be brooded upon and it can be hatched. You don't know. You don't know. But you know how to eat it. The ones that they hatch are different. Quickly, human manipulation. We manipulate humans. We manipulate human. Human genetic engineering is the process by which a desired gene can be placed into a woman in order for that woman to express a certain trait or be protected from developing a genetic disease. With genetic engineering, humans could respond to diseases before they become a threat. They can treat you even against that disease. In short, unborn people, A person's entire gene makeup could be mapped out before they are even born. This is in turn raises many controversial issues, such as gene discrimination and woman perfecting. If you have, they will perfect that which is wrong in us. And do you know that this genetic engineering could make an athlete, somebody who wants to run. If they breed you from conception, they can breed someone who could run faster. We are playing God. There is human cloning. You know, you've heard about cloning, have you? Hello? You are tired. Human cloning, where the creation of a genetically identical copy or a clone of a woman could be done. Identical copy. In short, the person will have the same memory you have. We were, contemplating and discussing some things, and they talk about a particular boy, a young boy of about 8-9 years, who was working advanced mathematics. And you ask the question, where did he even learn it? We have some today that they are ahead of their age in what they can do in life. We have the IVF, in vitro fertilization, the process by which an egg is fertilized by a sperm outside the womb in a laboratory setting before they transplant it. Best solution for overcoming fertility is helping some people to get out. We have the PGD, pre-implantation genetic diagnosis. That is genetically modified children. A process by which the embryos are screened for conditions that could lead to genetic disease. The children that will be given birth to were modified. They modify them, they change them, they put what they want to put, they remove what they wanted to remove. And we have, you've heard of surrogacy. Surrogacy today, a woman carries and gives birth to a baby for another person or couples. She will be the one to carry it. Either there are two types, either the one that is naturally from the couple or the one not from them. They take the sperm of the man, the ovary of the woman, they implant them in another woman. Another woman will carry it for 9 months, deliver the baby, and give it back to them. The baby will be carrying their gene, not that woman's own. Are we playing God? Are we playing God? You've heard of organ harvest, whereby body parts, organs could be harvested. And that is why you hear today, they say they are selling woman parts. Because they are needed. Many of you have forgotten that we have a new Buhari as our president. You remember when he came in, he was sick like every day. But now he's no longer sick. A particular model of manipulation had taken place. It's either they have used some people's organ or what have you, our time is far gone. We will stop here. What did you learn? Is God really in support of all this? Romans chapter 8 verse 22, creation is groaning. They are waiting for the manifestation of the children of God. Things are no longer what they used to be. Things have been manipulated. We are only twisting them. Let me tell you this before I round up. I have more things, but the argument here is that most of what is done is for monetary gain. If you want to argue that okay is good, it's for monetary gain. This seed you talk about, when you go and buy seedling for genetically modified crops, you can't plant it next year. You must go and buy another one. Is that what the Creator gave us? According to their seeds, according to their types. There must be seed to every plant. And that is what we have been having from generation to generation, and we continue to recycle these plants. But today, we have something different. All this human manipulation, are they for free? Even you that you are looking for child, this IVF, what have you, you pay, you must have money, big money. If you don't have money, they don't have pity on you. It's not a compassionate business. Most of these things are money. They are making billions of dollars. You have a duty. You have a responsibility. You need to rise against all manipulation of God's creation, and you need not get yourself involved. The Lord will help us. Happy Green Sunday.